Hi, Kapun Piso here. Here are some facts. We have a problem recently in Mumbai, in India, with all the terrorists. Where does terrorism come from? The fact is, everything originates in the brain. We create God thinking.
Holtzberg was born in Israel, but moved to New York as a child. His wife, Rivka, also was killed. But their 2-year-old son was actually smuggled out of the house yesterday by a cook and is said now...
The nanny saved the child. Today, we know that we create God and everything with the brain. The brain is what think. Long time ago, this a child being saved and put in a basket to be saved from persecution and be protected, happened in the foundation of Rome. Romulus was put in a basket. Romulus and Remus was put in a basket and saved. That's 2,700 years ago, according to the mythology. Same thing happened in Egypt 5,000 years ago. The mythology of Moses being placed in a basket, put in a river. Mythologies. But it's interesting. In those days, the story will grow into something completely different, founding a religion. Today, saving of the child by the nanny would not result in a religion. Ancient times, it did. The worship of the Christus, Judaism, and much, much later, Islam originated in the holy city of Rome. The cult of the sacred savior Julius Caesar Christ, who was adored by the Jews. So they were the first people that attended his funeral in Rome. Savior Julius Christ was killed, and the faith grew. The son of God Augustus in 29 BCE inaugurated all the temples all over the empire. The belief in Julius Christ completely separated in the different regions of the vast Roman Empire, especially in the section of what is today Judea, Syria, and all the other regions. The passion of the god Julius Caesar mutated into the passion of the Christus, like about after 325. Constantine the criminal initiated what will be known today as the Catholic Church. He made the worship of the Christus of the city of Rome, where all the events occur, into the number one religion of the empire, fighting against all the other sects, including the ones in Jerusalem. The Jews also had adopted the Julius Christ worship. And the Syrians, and all, they have their own, because the legions of the Roman Empire had established themselves there, adopting the local traditions and beliefs. 5th century and on, the Catholic Church established the councils of the church. In other words, they gather together and they get their fairy tales up to date, imposing on others. And no other cults were accepted. In other words, you either believe what they believe or they will kill you. The councils of the creators of Christianity from 325 CE to even 1965. Amazing. The councils of the church kept it united. And they control everybody with this council. The last one was 1965. And the 1500s came the Protestant, which it was Luther. And he said, he hated Jews, Christ killers. And Luther said, no, salvation, you read the Bible and you're saved. And that's it. And that caused a division of the many, many Christian denominations that you see today. They all hate the Jews, hate everybody else, impose their intolerance on everybody else. That became the cause of genocide. The 4th century, all the fairy tales, all the events of that happened in March, the passion of the Lord and Savior Julius Christ, whom the Jews loved. They consider him. His star was sacred. It was put in all the temples. The Star of David. They consider him an honorary son of David. All of that was mutated in the 4th century with Christ became actually. Caesar became actually Jesus Christ. Gallia became the Galilee, and all these characters of the Passion, even Cassius Longinus, was transformed to the guy that stabbed Christ. The two priests of Julius Caesar. The first one was Marcus Antonius, the priest of Caesar, and later Lepidus, which is named in stones, became Simon Peter. And so on and so on and so on. Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of Christ, which is actually, Cleopatra, Isis. The religion of the empire, thanks to Constantine, became only the one of the city of Rome, Catholic, the universal. A Bible was created by a bunch of competing different texts. It became the Vulgate, and they began killing everybody else, intellectuals, anybody that didn't agree with them. And that initiated the intolerance and the destruction of the completely disintegration of the Roman Empire, initiating the Dark Ages. Passion of the god Julius Caesar became the passion of the Christus. Everything was completely transposed to the only city in those days was the time of Caesar was Rome, the city of Rome, the only holy city that became transposed to Jerusalem, and all the fairy tales became, the Christ was come around, the Mary Magdalene, the whole nonsense, and all this. That's the reason you cannot find evidence, archaeological evidence of a Christ, ever. None of Christianity, nothing, no crucifixion, nothing like that, because it was actually Julius Caesar. Junius Brutus, which was the adopted or natural son of Caesar, that actually ended up stabbing him because he didn't like the idea of helping the poor and all that, like Caesar did, and forgiving sins. Became Judas Iscariot. And Judas is Junius, from the family Junius, and Iscariot is a distortion of Sicarius, which means assassin. Marcus Junius Brutus was called in those days, one of the killers of Caesar, was called Junius Sicarius, which means Junius the assassin. The Roman Empire had disintegrated, and many religions or sects of the cult of Julius Caesar, now, the kind of a Christian and Judaism mixed and all that, had emanated in different parts of the empire. One of those lunatics from the city of Mecca, which was a Roman province also, had Roman temples, was Muhammad. And this lunatic came around and he got into a cave. He took some entheogens. He was the neurotic, and he saw the angel Gabriel, the same angel of the Bible, which is, they all have it, the same thing. And he, that's what Islam was initiated. And they decided to take over the rest of the disintegrated Roman Empire. The Arabs and the Jews are the same peoples. They're all merchants. The Jews were actually removed from the Roman Empire, the two diasporas, and they split. The Arabs, the other merchants, stayed there. They were kissing Roman ass. So therefore, that's what the Muslims come from. But they are already have taken care and got along in Judea with the other Muslims. They were all traders, and they lived in the area of Judea, Jerusalem, and all that by the 7th century. Arabs and Jews and everybody got along. There were some people in Jerusalem, all that. Then the Christian, the retarded Vatican, and the retarded Catholics decided to liberate the land of the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and where, Constantine built all these temples in the 3rd century, all these churches, and they decided to go over there and liberate the land of this heathen. And that was in the 11th century, so at the beginning of the... This is the reason Christian missionaries are the lowest of the low. They're despicable, disgusting. And the Crusaders, they killed Jews, they catapulted heads over the walls of cities, torture everybody, killing and burning people alive. The evidence is there for all to see. These people committed the most heinous atrocities. Richard the Lionhearted burned Jews in synagogues and put a yellow star. And this is in the 12th century. And they start dividing between the Arabs, and they catapult heads over the cities. I mean, despicable. They didn't only do this to the Jews. In Jerusalem, they did that to the whole world, to the Americas, New Zealand, everywhere. The despicable retards, with of course the missionaries, the nuts, went around imposing their beliefs on everybody else. Here's Martin Luther of the Jews and the Lies. Hitler loved him. Here's a pious Christian Hitler, and here's the massacre at Jonestown due to this neurosis. And then you have here the retarded Chris Cameron and Ray Comfort, idiots. And now the Bombay Massacre, thanks to Christ-Psychosis. Believing God is a psychosis, not needed in this 21st century. Christianity is the worst of these neurological disorders, and it causes terrorism. Because with intolerance and imposing on everybody else, history, the evidence speaks for itself. Pace Dioro.